This is Geometry Unit 5A Study Guide, problems 9 through 15. On problem 9, they are asking what types of triangles are regular. Well, remember, regular means all the sides are equal and all the angles are equal. So it would be an equilateral, equiangular triangle. Number 10, an isosceles triangle has a base of 14, a leg of 2x minus 8, and another leg of 20. What is the value of x? The thing I want you to do again is draw this. Now they said our base was 14, and it is an isosceles, so I know these two sides are congruent, and one of those is 2x minus 8, and the other is 20. So I know that 2x minus 8 must equal 20. And then I'm going to solve using algebra. And I'm going to get that x equals 14. On problem 11, find the value of x, y, and z, and these are all angles. We'll notice that across from angle that is z is 136 degrees. Those are vertical angles and therefore congruent, because all vertical angles are congruent. So angle z equals 136. Well, would you agree that angle z and angle x form a linear pair? And remember that linear pairs are supplementary, so they equal 180. So I know that z plus x, that is z, plus x equals 180, and I know that z is 136. So 136 plus x equals 180. So therefore x has to equal 44 degrees. All right, and so the only thing I have left is y. Well, again, I know, because these are a linear pair, that this angle right here, this unnamed angle, is 56. I know that x is 44, so since there's 180 degrees in every triangle, if I subtract 44 and 56, I am going to get that angle y equals 80 degrees. And on a test, I would want you to write the measure of angle z equals 136, and the measure of angle x equals 44 degrees. In problem 12, they want us to find the value of x in the diagram. Well, again, vertical angles are congruent, so I know that this angle is x plus 7. And if I add all three of these angles, it must equal 180. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, is set that equation up and then solve it. And I get that x equals 13. In problem 12, we learned that an exterior angle, which is what 120 is, equals the sum of the interior angles. So I can say 40 plus 2x, or the sum of the two of the two angles that don't touch the exterior angle, equals 120. There we go. So I'm going to set that up, and I'm going to get that 2x equals 80, and therefore x equals 40. on problem 14, in the diagram below, the two triangles are congruent. So I am telling you that they are congruent, and you are going to fill in the blanks. So we kind of have to rotate our second triangle so that we can see corresponding angles. And let's do that first. So X corresponds to angle C. And angle Z corresponds to angle A. Now you're not going to just put the letters, you're going to put angle with it. And angle Y corresponds to angle B. Therefore, side YZ corresponds to side BA, and side XZ corresponds to side CA, and side XY corresponds to side CE. Now that I know that, I can write a congruent statement, which is what this is. And this says triangle XYZ, and I must mention the vertices in the same order. So what corresponds with X is C, it goes first. What corresponds to Y is B, that goes next, and what corresponds to Z is A. So that is the congruent statement. Okay, problem 15. Triangle DYM is congruent to triangle FGR. If the measure of angle G is 75, and the measure of angle M is 40, what is the measure of angle D? Again, I am going to ask you to draw these triangles. Now notice when I'm labeling, if I put D here, I must put the corresponding F here and then go in order. So I know that G is 75 and I know that M is 40. If these two triangles are congruent, then F must also be 75 and R must be 40. I can find Y by taking 180 minus 75 minus 40. And I'm going to get that Y is 65 degrees. Well, since the triangles are congruent, then G must also be 65 degrees. Ah, dagnabbit, I did that wrong. All right, so erase, erase, erase. I've just got these in the wrong spots. So it is angle G. All right, back on the bus up here. We're going to use the same numbers, I just don't have them in the right spot. I labeled incorrectly. It tells us at the very beginning that G is 75. There we go. So let's label that one, 75, and that M is 40. Well, I know if G is 75, then Y must be 75 because those are corresponding angles and these are congruent triangles. If M is 40, then R must also be 40. Now that I have two angles, I'm going to do exactly what I said here, and I'm going to solve for my missing angle, which is 65 degrees. So that would be D and F because they are corresponding. So D is 65 degrees. What is the value of X if the measure of R is 2X minus 6? So 2X minus 6, and I know that R is 40. And so I'm going to solve that using algebra. And I get that X is 23. Which side is the longest side in this triangle? Now remember, the longest side is always opposite the longest or largest angle. So I'm looking at triangle DYM, and I notice that D is my largest angle. So the side opposite that would have to be my longest side, and that would be YM. Okay, I think we're done here.